Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Hello?
Good
Yes, ma'am.
afternoon, ma'am. You're audible.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, dear authors and invited guests, welcome to the technical session 6B. On I, Aarti Mohan, and this session would be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and GR Scholastic LLP, it's my great pleasure to welcome you all to the Third World Conference on Information Systems for Business Management, ISBM. Bangkok, Thailand. The third edition of the conference is being organized in hybrid mode. The physical event is being organized today in Bangkok, Thailand, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom. That is on today and tomorrow, that is 12th and 13th September 2024. I hope you all gonna be enjoying this knowledgeable session. In this session, we have 6 presentations. Each presenters will be given 12 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for the question and answer session round. On 10 minutes, I'll raise a gentle reminder. There's another request to all the participants to stay connected with us till the closing remarks. If you have any sort of query or update, you can write it to me in the chat box. Just before we get started with our session, I would like you all to introduce to the session chair of the session, Dr. Nikita Bhatt. She is a head Department of Computer Engineering IST, Charotar University of Science and Technology, India. Her PhD thesis topic is improvement of deep cross model retrieval using common subspace generation. She has conducted expert talks and seminars at Fundamentals of Machine Learning, GCET, VV Nagar. Research challenges in classification and regression techniques, BVM Engineering College, VV Nagar. She has been a reviewer in Journal of Intelligent and Fuzzy Systems, ISCRISET 2020, ICRISET 2018, NCSCA 2016. It's a great pleasure to have you on board with us, ma'am. Moving on to our presentation, I would like to invite the presenter to present her paper on a multi-layered approach to identifying social media events using LLM. Dear presenter, could you please start with your presentation?
Am I audible?
On to our next presentation. So we have the topic is on accelerating satisfaction, unveiling the direct influences of service quality factors on customer satisfaction in the automotive after-sales sector. Dear presenter, could you please proceed with your presentation?
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes, the screen is visible.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. So my topic is accelerating satisfaction, unveiling direct influences of service quality factors on customer satisfaction in the automotive after-sales sector. So the authors are myself, Paurnami J. Nambiar, and my co-author, Kalavi Krishnan. So beginning with, the major area which I'm concentrating is like on customer satisfaction and service quality, how to attain customer satisfaction through service quality. So the sector I have chosen here is the Royal Enfield bikes in Kerala, India. So the very basic thing when we go for buying any product is that we'll check, is there any service provided, after sale service provided by the company. Only then we will go with that product, because if there is no after sale service, then it's a very headache for us to find someone for the sales, the services and all. So so every company nowadays focuses on giving an after sale service for the customers. So the study explores the importance of service quality and supply chain management in maintaining a competitive edge in post-sales provisions, focusing on customer satisfaction. Here, in my study, I have chosen Royal Enfield's after-sales service in Kerala. analyzing using a method called the SERVQL method, which has 5 dimensions, namely tangibles, dependability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathies. So moving on, objectives of the studies are to study the direct impact of SERVQL model dimensions, which are tangibles, responsiveness, assurance, empathy, and reliability to achieve customer satisfaction. And to study how after sales services at Royal Enfield leaderships in Kerala affects the customer satisfaction. So coming to the SERVQL model, it is a model which is used to measure or to analyze the service quality provided by any organization. It was an tool, or it was a model which was developed by Parashuraman, Valerie Zetmal, and Leonard Berry in 1988. So this is a model which was framed, and there is a set of questionnaires. Uh, there's a set of questions which will be given to the customers for and the data will be collected from them, and according to that we will be analyzing it. So the SERVQL model has total of 5 uh, dimensions which are tangibles, reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy. So what the SERVQL model says is that all these 5 dimensions direct towards service quality. Like all these 5 have a direct impact on service quality. And when a service quality is attained, it gives customers satisfaction. It helps to attain customer satisfaction. This is the original theory of the SERVQL model. So in my study, I have done a conceptual framework where it says that uh, all these 5 dimensions, which are tangibles, reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy, have a direct impact on customer satisfaction. Like this, there is no service quality in between. We have a direct uh, impact on the customer satisfaction. So all these 5 are studied individually, where in the first theoretical framework, it is said that all these 5 lead to service quality. Only then customers are satisfied. But in my theory, it is like all these 5 are considered individually, and all these 5 individually contribute towards the customer satisfaction. So for my study, my research methodology, I have used primary data where I have prepared a questionnaire which contains questions relating to all these 5, that is tangibles, reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy, and customer satisfaction. And all these have a preset questions which was formulated uh, in this SERVQL model. So those are the questions taken, and I have used secondary data also to know more about the Royal Enfields in India. In my study, the population I have taken is the population of Kerala, the people who own Royal Enfield bikes in Kerala, and my sample size was 300. And I have adopted the method of simple random sampling. So for the analysis part, I have used the SEM analysis, that is structural equational modeling, where you can see all these 5 dimensions, that is reliability, assurance, tangibles, empathy, and responsibility. All these have a set of questions, and these have been determined. And SEM is used when there are more than when we have to understand the relation between more than 2 dimensions or more than 2 variables. If we want to analyze anything, the relation, then we use the SEM model. So this is the original proposed model where customer satisfaction and service quality is being analyzed. So after doing the analysis, it was found that 2 of the factors or 2 of the dimensions, which are the tangibles and the assurance, do not have a direct impact or a direct significance towards customer satisfaction, but rest of the three, that is reliability, empathy, and responsibility, have a direct impact on or a direct significant on the customer satisfaction. So this is a revised model where the tangibles and assurance path has been cleared off, and only the ones which give direct significance towards customer satisfaction has been shown. So as a conclusion, like every customer who not only for Royal Enfield or any other product, they look for customer after sale service. Without an after sale service, there is no use of buying that product, because then that is an headache for the customer to look for another third party to get the thing serviced. So whenever a company is giving a after sale service, the customers get more attraction towards, which increases the loyalty and retention of the customers. Thank you, ma'am. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your presentation. Ma'am, you have any questions?
Innovation. Hello. Can I docs ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Okay, we have one question in the chat box.
Yes.
What is the innovation in the work?
Okay, clear. Yeah. Share me the presentation.
Ma'am, the innovation in the work is that the actual model of the circle was the 5 dimensions directly influence the service quality, and only after that customer satisfaction was determined. If there is a service quality, then it is assumed that customer satisfaction is achieved. But what I am trying to learn is that uh, maybe not all the 5 dimensions have a direct significance towards service quality, because maybe as in you can see in my study, two of the factors, that is tangibles and assurance, do not have a direct significance towards service quality. So it means that all the 5 factors are not studied individually, they are studied as a group, because then we will not be able to find out where the company is lacking. Because here in my study, two of the tangibles, that is two of the dimensions, that is tangibles and assurance, do not have a direct significance. That means the service quality is not achieved completely. So but in the previous model it is said, if any of the majority of it gives a direct significance, then there is a customer satisfaction. But when we study individually, then only we will understand where the company is lacking in that process. So
Okay.
that
So actually, ma'am is having some audio problem. So she has another question. Like, have you done any sort of comparison?
No, ma'am, I have not done, because it was just PG level. So I have my paper, so I have my own limitations for that. So I have not gone for the next step. I have just done for.
Okay. So any state of the art method known to you? We have another question.
No, ma'am, I'm not aware of.
Okay, thank you so much. Ma'am, you have any other questions? If you can hear me. Okay, that's it. So moving on to our next presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, can I leave the mm,
Uh,
meeting?
we want we want you to stay till the closing remarks, but you can join in between as well. No
Okay,
problem.
ma'am. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your presentation. Next,
Thank you.
we have our presentation on incorporating lead time into into the EOQ model, a new approach for improved inventory management. Dear presenter, could you please start with your presentation?
Ma'am, my screen is visible or not?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. Audio is clear?
Yes, sir, audio is clear.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. Now, today I will discuss about that incorporating lead time into the EOQ model, a new approach for improved inventory management. Now we see the abstract. Now the investigation choice have application for association expecting to chip away at in everyday practical and smooth over their stock organization system. By light on the novel approaches to utilizing the EOQ model, the review contribution to the growing body of the data on stock enhancement. This lays the groundwork for future assessment and the development of cutting edge undertaking research, demand measuring, and instruments. Now, the EOQ model is basically help. It determines the optical order quantity that minimize the both holding cost and ordering cost. The purpose of this review is to investigate how the EOQ model could improve the project demand forecast. It integrates theoretical knowledge with real-world application and model in light of current advancements. Now, moving ahead, now we discuss about that introduction. The inspiration deriving investigating creative stock procedure. For example, the economical order quantity model originates from the need to co-sequence the implementation of customary stock administration approaches. That's objective of this model. The essential goal of this study is to explore the capability of the EOQ model in the activity research for request and stock advancement. The study specially aims to investigate novel strategy for smoothing out stock level utilizing the EOQ model inside the field of task exploration and stock administration. Also axes the validity of the EOQ model as a device for further developing interest, determining and stock control in unique store network conditioning. Now moving at the research design. This study research design employs a mixed method approaches combining qualitative and quantitative method to investigate the novel inventory strategy in the depth. The qualitative and quantitative perspective includes the utilization of cutting edge models, for example, AI calculation and persistent investigation to figure interest and upgrade stock level processively. Also, the subjective perspective involves analysis and meeting with industry specialists to acquire bits of knowledge and procedure. Now we're moving ahead the equation for the EOQ model. EOQ is equals to under root square root 2ds by h, where d is the annual demand in units, s is the ordering cost per order, or h is the holding cost per unit year. Now we moving ahead theoretical framework, foundation for innovative inventory strategies. To lay out a hypothetical starting point for creative stock methodology, the examination draw on the field of task exploration and stock administration. The hypothetical system incorporate key standards of stock enhancement, request, estimating, and store network element. By joining hypothetical comprehension with guidelines executive, the review intent to investigate novel methodologies for upgrading stock levels, giving a heartily permissions to the incorporation of imagination system. Now we're moving ahead how this concept can be integrated for demand forecasting. The EOQ model for demand checking and research comprise is the sequential sign of gathering of this survey. The foundation for understanding how the EOQ model can be significant asset in the improvement of immeasurable negative stock system is a given by this plan when made with research. The evaluation of speculative consideration paves the way for a comprehensive analysis and observation data for light on the advantages and request checking the project. Now we see about the result and discussion about that result and discussion. Now, inventive stock organization strategy result segment dealing with the EOQ model assessment for deals checking gives a complete diagram of the key got from a axis. Now, the EOQ model helps determine the optical order quantity that minimize both holding cost and ordering cost. This ensures that medical facility have the right amount of suppliers without overstocking, which reduces waste or stock outs. That's a Medicare services provides often deal with the various medical suppliers like gloves, bandages, other disposal items. Now the exploration of the possibility of the EOQ model. The result look into how the EOQ model could be used to improve demand forecasting in operations through a wide examination. What joins hypothetical comprehensive with a true the review investigate how the EOQ model can be applied to address the complexity of the stocks chains. Now, the re-examination of the EOQ model. The EOQ model in light of current issue and advancement in technology, this includes survey how the EOQ model as a laid out way to deal with the stock administration can be adjusted to address the advancing difficulties and valuable open doors introduced by the powerful business climate. Now, the advantage and difficulties of incorporating the EOQ model. The information got from a careful survey of contextual investigation and observation information in introduced. The outcome bits of knowledge into the benefits related with integrating the EOQ model into a task research for request gaining. Now we about the discussion. The innovative inventory strategy discussion section, outfitting the EOQ model in activity exploration for the request. Basically, disease and the discoveries and suggestion introduced in the examinations. Now the conclusion about that. The study broad approach to examining the EOQ model as a useful tool for improving demand forecasting in the operation is what makes is a significant. By combining hypothetical comprehensive with the genius examination, the review has re-evaluated the EOQ model. Now the direction of the future field. The study concludes with a number of recommendations for future research in the field of novel inventory strategy. Further investigation of information examination and advance related to the EOQ model could be a more powerful, comprehensive of their cooperative potential. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your presentation. Ma'am, you have any questions? Ma'am, am I audible? Any question? Yeah. We have a question in the chat box. Could you please
Yes.
refer to the same?
Is there any experiment performed? Yes, incorporate lead times into the EOQ model enhance its effectiveness by the accounting for the time delay between placing and receiving order. This new approach improves the inventory management like several keywords, reduce the stock outs and excess inventory cost efficiency, improve cash flow management, etc. Okay, how effectiveness can be measured? Yes, ma'am. Overall, this approach to EOQ creates a more aligned and precise inventory management system, promoting operational efficiency, cost saving, and customer service reliability. Any question?
So we have one more. She is asking, have you done any comparison?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, that's all from your end. Okay, so moving on to our next presentation, I would like to invite the next presenter on the paper title, Query-Based Evaluation of Multi-Document Summarization Model. Dear presenter, are you there?
Yeah, ma'am. Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am, it's audible. Could you please start with your presentation?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christy Maria. First of all, thank you for giving this opportunity for presenting our paper. I will be presenting on research query-based evaluation of multi-document summarization. My co-authors are Raji Ramachandran, Shini AS, and myself. In today's presentation, I will be covering the following topics like introduction of a project, problem statement, architecture diagram, the models that we are used for summarization, different evaluation method, ROG metrics, and the experimentation and result. First, we'll move to the introduction. We all know what is summarization. Why is the need of summarization? I will be explaining. It is very difficult for us to get the it is very difficult for us to read each and every documents individually. So the summarization helps us to solve the issue. If multiple documents are given, we find it difficult to read each and every documents at the same time. So the summarization tool helps us to get summaries from all these documents to a single point. The challenges that we have faced is that in large number of information was available and it is difficult to process and understand the information effectively. The solution that we found was multi-document summarization, which can generate a concise summaries from multiple documents of similar topic. The challenges of current MDMS model was there we only use ROG score that do not reflect real world application. So in our approach, we used a novelty-based query-based evaluation method, which help us to access how well the summaries was informatable to us. The problem statement is that the need for accurate summarization model, that is the main important thing. Due to the exponential growth of data, there is a need for efficient document summarization technique, which we find it very useful. The summary that we need, it should be very effective. So this this multi-document summarization technique with query-based evaluation and ROG score helps to get the effective document summarization, which is our user need. The architecture diagram of a model is that if we have a multiple documents related to same domain, we will be passed with different summarization models like BERT model, clinical BERT, reinforcement learning, GP2, Pegasus. These are the summarization models that we are used for summarizing our documents. And each model will produce summaries of individual documents, and these summaries will be passed to evaluation methods of like ROG score evaluation and query-based evaluation. Comparing these both evaluation method, we will find out which summary produced by which model is the best. That is whether the BERT model summary produced was best or the clinical or all this, which one will produce the best summarization model. So that we are using evaluation methods. These are the models that we use for evaluation, summarization evaluation, that is BERT, then clinical BERT, which is mainly for clinical documents, then reinforcement learning, GPT, Pegasus, and ontology. We'll move to the individual explanation of each models. First is a BERT model. The input documents will be given to the BERT model, then it will be tokenized. First step is tokenization, then token embedding will be done. Then it will undergo a segment embedding process. Next, the position embedding process. Then it will be passed to BERT pre-trained model. It's a pre-trained method. Then they pass to summarization layers, and the final summary will be produced. Next is the Pegasus model. The same way the documents will be passed to Pegasus model. It is an encoder decoder model. First it will be encoded, then it will be decoded to the original text format. First it undergoes a tokenization methods, then it undergoes a encoding which captures the content and meaning, takes the meaning of each token. Then it will decode the summary by word. Then it will be passed to attention mechanism layer. Then language modeling will be done for choice of fluency. Then stopping criteria, it is used to stop where we need the summary, where we need to stop the summary. Then the detokenization is done to convert that tokens into readable format. Then it's a clinical bird model. It's a pre-trained model. It contains a fine-tuned clinical text data which helps in pre-training, which helps in summarization of clinical documents. Same way it undergoes pre-training, fine-tuning will be done. Then it undergoes a tokenization process. Then it undergoes a sentence scoring. That means each sentences will be given a scoring. Based on the scores, it will select which summary. Based on the score ranking, it will produce a summary. Then is the ontology-based model. It is a depth. How much depth it goes, that much depth the summary we produced will be good. Same way it undergoes a knowledge presentation. Then it undergoes a text analysis, whether they identify the key entities and concepts in the text. Then a mapping will be done. Then abstractive generate new text guided by ontology knowledge. It will produce a new text based on its knowledge. Then it is GPT model, it's a pre-trained model. It helps in predicting the next sentence or next sentence from that previous sentence. It undergoes a tokenization of sentence into word. Then initial input will be given to the model. That means initial document will be given to the model. It predicts the next word or sequence for the input, predicts the word and added to the input. And finally, the summarization will be produced. Next model is a reinforcement model. This model, it will be mainly focused on the state of action. That is, current sentence generated to model. Current sentence will be given to the model. Then it modifies the word, changes the structure of the sentence, changes the entire structure of the sentence. Then it will be rewarded whether it is a positive or negative one. That means it is a grammatically correct or incorrect sentence. After that, it will produce a summary. After all this summarization, we will evaluate which models is the best summary produced. For that, we are using a query-based evaluation and ROC score methods. In query-based evaluation, we are identifying a set of queries from the documents, and we are inserting these queries to the documents after summarization. And which model summary is producing the most number of queries, we are taking that as the best model. Not only based on query based, on the basis of ROC score also we are calculating. For that, we are using ROC-N and ROC-L measures. ROC-N is an overlap between generated and the reference summary. Here, reference summary we are taking from some online tools or something. We'll put this original documents to an online tool and produce a summary, and that will be given as reference summary. It will compare both the summaries and produce a score. ROC-L and ROC-L. ROC score is calculated based on precision, recall, and Epson score. The dataset that we used for the clinical for our project is that clinical related datasets of King's College University. Comparison is mainly on the ROC score and query-based evaluation. That is answered. These are the set of queries that we are given to each models. Here the queries we have manually identified from the document, and we have inserted these queries to the summaries produced by each documents. Finally, we found out which all models produce the queries. Here the BERT model was able to answer 4, whereas GPT was able to answer 5. On the basis of queries, GPT was the best in answering queries. After that, we compared with ROC score also. The same way, each model was undergone a ROC score calculation. From that, we know that ROC score values will be from 0 to 1. The model which has 1 as a ROC score will be the best summary model. Here we found that 0.5 was the highest ROC score calculated, and that was for GPT model. On the basis of these both, on the basis of queries and on the basis of ROC score, we found that GPT model was able to answer the most number of queries and the best summary that was produced. That was our final result. The GPT model was the best in answering all the summaries on the basis of ROC score and query-based evaluation. These are references that we are used in our project. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your presentation. Ma'am, you have any questions? Yeah. We have one question in the chat box. Could you please refer to the same? Dear presenter, there is a question for you in the chat box. Hello.
What is your contribution?
Yeah.
Yeah. Our contribution was that query-based evaluation. That was a novelty, new novelty in our project, because our other summarization models, they were using ROG score measures, but we are using a query-based evaluation and comparison of all the three models.
Ma'am, any further questions?
Hello, ma'am.
Actually, I'm ask. Yeah, there's one question. What's the performance comparison? Dear presenter, there's one more question for you.
Yes.
Ma'am is asking, what's the performance comparison?
Performance.
Yeah.
Performance comparison you have made. The comparison, we found that a GPT model was able to answer the best queries, and the performance that we in previous one, that was I think it was around 0.4 something, but after doing this summarization, we was able to get a ROG score of 0.5.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, you have it's over from your end. One more question. Have you answered how much improvement you are getting? Ma'am is asking. Ma'am, you have further any more questions? Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you for your presentation. Moving to our next presentation, I would like to invite just a second. I would like to invite Hridya ma'am to present her paper on multi-layered approach to identifying social media events using LLM.
So, Riddhi, can you please share the PPT which I have sent? Since I have some technical issue, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you for helping me.
No problem, ma'am.
Some technical issue is there, so that's why.
Not at
So-
all a problem. Yeah, you may please proceed with your presentation.
Okay. Good afternoon. I am Hridya, and I'm working in a department. I'm under the Department of Center for Internet Studies and Artificial Intelligence, CISI, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, India. So next. So my topic is multi-layered approach to identifying social media events using LLM, and the paper ID is 107. So can you just next slide? Riti, can you just yeah. So objective of our paper is to develop an approach to grouping social media content effectively. So social media content, you know that it will be of different types. It can be small data, like only just hashtags will be there, or it can be a very big Facebook content, like it will be very big text also, or it can be a moderate size also. Based on the people's mood, it will be changing. So that is one challenges are so we need to categorize and cluster. We need to cluster them. Cluster means identify the topics which are discussed across the social media platform. So for that, we need to find out what are all the challenges we are facing. First one is syntactic similarity and semantic inequality. So if you are going with a traditional method, if you are finding out topics which are discussed across the social media platform, for example, Article 370, it can be like different people will be discussing about it in different way. So it can be related to governmental issue or it can be related to a social issue. So if you are clustering based on the normal traditional method, Article 370 hashtags will come under every topics will come under one topics. Every text will come under one cluster. So, but in that case, if you check whether it is governmental or social issue, we need to categorize them and cluster them. So another example is COVID-19. If people will be talking about COVID-19 based on the vaccines which are how vaccines are used or how social distancing and all, we need to find out like that. So many discussions will be happening under the topic COVID-19. And the another topic is like it can come under economics also. If it is in economics, then when shops will be opening again and when we will be able to do our business properly, all those things will be come under economics category. So if you are clustering it based on traditional method, it will all come under one topic, one cluster. So in order to and the other one is short or long time text varying context. So these are the two major problems while clustering text data. So clustering the social media data. Can you take the next slide? Riddhi, next slide. Yeah. So we have proposed a methodology which can enrich the short text, short content. Like if we are having a small hashtag or user interaction, it will be very less. One topic only will be there, and we do not have any other thing. Then in that case, how we will integrate or enrich the text data? So we can search across another social media data or news data in order to get the proper idea of that particular hashtag or some word or some topic. So that is the another one way of resolving the issue. Next slide, please. So next is like how to classify or cluster them effectively. So before clustering text data, first we thought of categorizing them into a definite predefined categories, and after that again cluster them. So we will get a proper proper clusters based on the content which they are talking, not only the topics based on the what they meant also. So in the classification, we have I have selected 5 category, and based on if you guys are planning to or if you are interested in this research, you can select in your own categories. I have selected 5 categories which are like government and governance. This category will contains classification encompass text discussing different political and the administrative topics. And the next one is business and economy. All the posts related to business and economy will fall under this category. Next, crime. Posts related to any type of criminal activity fall under this category. Next is disaster. And the text dedicated to natural calamity related discussion. Other one is entertainment. This can come under this any other topics like miscellaneous content, movie discussion, advertisement, fashion related, everything can come under entertainment. So this 5 categories we have defined. We can change into any category which you prefer. And after classification, we will get, for this we need to train the data. For training the data, we need data set. We need to collect them separately based on the category. And training, of course, I know that it is not easy. Topics which are come under government and governments can be very huge also. But for that, how we have resolved that issue is we have selected some topics or words which will come under government and governance. And to some extent, we are able to train them. And we will train them all the text data, and we will train them, and we'll get a classification model. For that, we have used large language models, especially GPT-2. So next, after classification, we got 5 categories, and inside each category, we are clustered based on the distinct event categorized text. So after that, we will again cluster them separately. Can you next slide, Riddhi? Next slide, please. Yeah, this is an overall architectural diagram. So in this, it contains crawl the data from social media or whatever data is available in the freely available. For my paperwork, I have selected openly available free databases and all, free data sets and all. And that we have crawled and then pre-processed it, and then short text will be enriched without some signal words. We prefer some signal words, that is important words. Some topics should be there. If it is not there, we will remove that. Unwanted text we will remove. And then short text with the signal words, if it is important text word, then we will text enrich them using the news data. And again, we will go to, if it is a long text data, we will categorize them and then cluster them. After that, incremental clustering is there. Then we will give a heading for that using summarizer. This is the overall idea of the our module, our product. Can you just next slide? Riddhi, next slide. Oh, can I move? I don't think so. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, for data collection, we have collected 0.5 million manually annotated text from various platforms, and for training classification algorithm. For some examples are the like Kaggle dataset, data.world, and Twitter API or X. Now currently it is known as X API. Using these types, we have collected the data. I'm not able to I don't know what happened. Okay. Next is pre-processing and signal word detection. So in this here, we will pre-process or clean the text data. Whatever data we have got, we will clean the text data, and then we will find out the signal words. Signal words are nothing but hashtags or important topics. Hashtags we will get by default. We can pre-process this and take it. And if it is an important topic which is do not have any hashtag, then we will find out using LD algorithm. Then that is the signal word detection. So next slide. Oh, yeah, here. Okay. So enriching the short post with the latest relevant news. So here we have, if it is needed, we have selected firstpost.com, indiatoday.com, .in, and news18.com. These are the some news channels which I did not mention everything. So these are some of the news channels which we have followed. So next. Okay. So this is the how we have done categorization or classification. So we used generative pre-trained transformers for taking the features and all from each data. Self-attention of GPT will help to understand the relationship between words and capture the dependencies. GPT has a positional encoding. That means we will get a position information for each token in the input sequence. That's why we have selected GPT-2 so that it will have a proper positional encoding. Then next we have added dense layer and dropout layer added to GPT-2 with the help of TensorFlow for classification purpose. So next slide.
Could you please conclude your research?
Yeah, I will make it fast. Can you take next slide? So clustering and summarization. So here BERT we have used for tokenization for to each input text data for clustering. Then we have used agglomerative clustering. Why we used agglomerative clustering? Even though we have k-means clustering and all, because k-means clustering, we have to define how many clusters we need. But in agglomerative, we don't have to tell that. And summarization we have done using LDA. So can you just check next slide? Yeah, next slide. This already I told. So next is the incremental clustering. So if you are going to deploy it in a real world scenario, then text will be coming like anything. So in that case, how we will do? In that case, we will be doing categorization on the fly, and after that we will do incremental clustering. So whatever is coming, it will be clustered into online k-means clustering only we will be using in that case. So their Centroid clusters will be updated incrementally. So in that case, you don't have to store everything in the memory. So everything will be one by data will be coming and will be clustered accordingly. Next slide. So this is the overview of the categorization and clustering. So 5 category and then clusters. Next slide. Uh, Yeah, these are the experimental setup we have used. NVIDIA Tesla V100 Volta GPU accelerated with 32 GB, and we have done in a single node computer for my personal my prototype only. I have done this using single node computer and CUDA 11.7, NVIDIA 515, and Python only we have used as a back this one coding. Next, yeah. Next. This is experimental research. For classification purpose, 80% for training and 20% for testing purpose. In each class, we have taken 1 lakh data for training purpose for each class. So 5 lakh data will be there. Accuracy 9.1%. Silhouette score before categorization clustering 0.45. So silhouette is like if it comes above 0.5, it is a good cluster. And if it is below 0.5 and in between 0.25, then it is an average cluster. And if it is below 0.25, it is a worst cluster. So here we have compared our clustering before categorization 0.5 and after categorization, each one I have calculated. Then we have got the average silhouette score. Next. So this is how silhouette score is we will calculate the how is average distance between the point and all points near and clusters, which is not part of it. Like that accuracy we will be seeing. This is how we are calculating silhouette score. So we have got above 0.5 near to 1. So it is okay accuracy only. So next one, next slide. Yeah, experimental research. Here I have done with like 100 epochs and accuracy is like 99.1. Next slide. The loss, cross entropy loss only we have used. Next slide. Cross entropy loss. So it got like 0.032 loss value. And the categorized text data, this is like a very short data, very small data set I have placed to understand government and government category, business, all the 5 categories. Next. These are the clusters which in each topic, in each category, clusters we have found. So next. So what are the benefits of the proposed approach? Improved accuracy is there and effective clustering. We have deployed it in large scale and robustness. It can handle short and long text effectively, and contextual awareness. It can provide contextual awareness with the help of news sources. Next. Yeah. Is there any question? Thank you. This is a screenshot of our deployed product. So I did not take all these categories which are different. I cannot take all those things in my paper. So I have changed it into different category, and I have trained it separately. For this deployed product, we have trained it separately. So it is working one, and it is a widely used product only. So any help, any questions?
Okay, I have few questions.
Yes.
The first question is you are getting classification accuracy 99.1.
Yes.
So is it testing accuracy or training accuracy?
Training accuracy, testing accuracy is like we have tested, but it is almost in that range only. This I given for yeah.
The training accuracy is 99.1.
Yeah.
Because your model is overfitted.
But we have tested also properly, ma'am. This is like for my data set, it may be like that because I have given 1 lakh data only per category. So, but we have trained it properly with the more data because of the means it needs little more data set.
Is there any imbalance instances that you have figured out?
Like how, ma'am?
Is there any imbalance instances present in your data set?
No, sometimes it can happen based on the miscellaneous category, no? So some text can come in some another category. So if it is like that, then we cannot
Okay,
do.
for that,
Yeah.
I think you have used GPT model in order to do the classification.
Yes.
How GPT can handle the ambiguity?
What, ma'am? How?
How GPT model
Ah.
can handle the ambiguity which can be present in the data set?
Okay. This I just used for categorization only. So
So in order to categorize, if some ambiguity would be there, right, from the input, then how that ambiguity can be handled?
okay. Actually, I don't know, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so that's it from my side.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Ritu, for helping me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to the next presentation, we have Riddhi Patil to present her paper on self-error solving Linux distribution. Dear presenter, could you please proceed with your presentation?
Absent.
Okay. So moving on to the next presentation. Just a second. We have Shruti M to present her paper on univariate data analysis for demand forecasting in blood supply chain using time series and machine learning models.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Could you please
Just a
proceed
moment,
with
ma'am.
your presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Shruti M. My paper ID is 186 and my title is Univariate Data Analysis for Demand Forecasting in the Blood Supply Chain using Time Series and Machine Learning Model. My co-authors are Shrikant Prabhu, Yogesh Pai and Venkatesh Bandage. Yeah, so this is the overview of my study. I start with the purpose of the study. So the purpose of study is to study on the analysis of univariate data pertaining blood supply chain using time series and machine learning models. So blood is basically a life-saving, blood is actually life-saving, and it helps patients survive surgeries, cancer treatment, chronic illnesses, and traumatic injuries. Just one donation can save up to 3 lives. So there is a need to maintain robust and efficient demand supply of various blood components because it is very critical in saving a patient's life on a day-to-day basis. So there are various statistical studies that have been conducted in literature which suggests that there is a significant demand supply gap in the blood supply chain. So there are different issues in the blood supply chain. That is, there will not be any certainty in the demand. There is lot of uncertainty in the demand. There may be wastage of blood due to the blood components due to the short shelf life, and there may be shortage of the blood components also. So for this reason, there is a requirement of thorough analysis and building of decision support systems in order to support the blood supply chain. So through simulation of real-time blood bank donations, what we can do is, it will be helpful to identify the trends and patterns in the donation data. And also, we can forecast the need for the blood donation based on the demand using various time series and machine learning models. So as an introduction, blood supply chain comprises of different stages. So right from collection, that is a blood donation, separation of components, testing, grouping, and matching with the patient's needs. A blood bank in a healthcare institution has got a number of strategic decisions, operational decisions, and tactical decisions to be made with regard to the different stages of the blood supply chain. So in order to maintain a sustainable blood donor network, there should be a raising awareness because donations are very less when compared to the demand that is there for the blood components that is needed for the patient. There should be raising awareness also about the blood donation that is to be considered. So blood inventory management will require the creation of intelligent systems to help in building the decision support systems which can effectively forecast the demand. I have made a series of literature review which actually prescribes the use of time series and machine learning models in the various areas of the blood supply chain. So there are various aims of the study like forecasting the supply of blood components, then considering the blood database management system where there may be missing values, outliers, forecasting platelets, forecasting, predicting the accurate RBC quantity that is required, red blood cell quantity that is required. There are different methods that were methods and models that were used, which comprised of both the time series as well as the machine learning model. The first study concluded that time series, that is seasonal exponential smoothing model and autoregressive integrated moving average models were better. But the outcome said that there may be other unknown variables also which may affect the accuracy of forecasting. So it needs to be monitored. The second paper employed ML algorithms because time series is not effective in dealing with missing values, outliers, and the discrepancies in the real world data. So K nearest neighbor regression extreme learning machine performed well in this particular case. And forecasting platelet transfusions were helpful in building decision support systems using long short-term deep learning model. And to predict the accurate RBC demand, light gradient boosting machine method was being used, which reduced the risk of untimely blood supply. So, as per the studies that were conducted, in conclusion, in the literature, there are not many studies that are conducted for the healthcare institutions in India. So, as per a paper, the total clinical demand was estimated to be 14.61 million units of whole blood, with a requirement of 36.3 donations per 1,000 eligible persons. But there is a gap of 2.5 donations per 1,000 eligible person, which is around 1 million units. So also, I have summarized the other literature papers, which emphasizes the need for making use of technology in implementing decision support systems. The methodology that I have utilized is with respect to, I have created a synthetic data set. So a sequence of data points have been created which is for 3 years. That is considering 15,000 rows every year. And we have 6 columns. So in the synthetic data set, we have the historical data that I have generated using generative adversarial network, which consists of different data fields like date, blood group, age, gender, blood pressure, hemoglobin, and the status. So these are the different data fields which are considered in the synthetic data. Once the synthetic data has been created, I have further process the data by data pre-processing and visualizations, by imputing the missing values and encoding the categorical values. So basically in generative adversarial networks, it mimics the statistical properties of the real world data. So I have actually given the real world scenario of how the blood donation data is to look like, and that is how the synthetic data has been created. So there were missing values also, which were imputed using the mean, median, and the mode imputation methods. Categorical variables like the blood group were encoded. And then in order to apply a time series model, there are certain transformations that are required, like resampling, stationarity testing, and transformations before we actually move into the forecasting. So forecasting is the last step that needs to be performed. So this is the entire methodology. In time series, I have considered moving average and its variation exponential weighted moving average and autoregressive models. Machine learning, I have considered linear regression and random forest. And deep learning model, I've considered a long short-term memory model. So based on the experimentation that has been performed, a descriptive analysis was being conducted to analyze or visually plot the data using histograms, where we see that the blood group A is having a larger number of donations compared to O, A, B, and AB. In a real-time scenario, it might differ, but this is one scenario of the synthetic data that I have considered. The second part is resampling has been done. Time series resampling has been done where I have considered the monthly frequency of the blood donations. So basically, the entire month data is being resampled, and that is called as downsampling, wherein the 3 years data were being reduced into 36 data points. So this shows this line plot shows the variations in the blood donation that has values from 300 to 360. These were the blood donations which were between 2021 to 2023. So for a time series analysis, before the forecasting is to be done, we have to perform some other tests like stationarity testing has to be done. That is, the data has to be stationary. The visual inspection can be used to find out if the data is stationary or not. Otherwise, we can use statistical tests. So augmented Dickey-Fuller test is being conducted to find if the series is stationary or not. With a p-value less than 0.05, then the value is stationary. Otherwise, it is not stationary. If the series is not stationary, then we need to apply what is called as differencing or the transformation methods. For my data, the series is stationary with a p-value of 0. So it is less than 0.05. So there is no differencing or the transformation methods that is required. And once the transformations and the stationarity testing is done, the further experimentation would be in terms of predictions of the data points that are considered for the experimentation. So moving average model was being considered. So this basically helps in identifying the patterns and trends in the time series data. I have used a moving average with a window size of 3, which helps in visualizing and understanding the trends. So a larger window size, if I consider, it will flat out the entire pattern. So we'll not be able to understand the trends in the patterns. And exponential weighted moving average was being used with a decay factor of 12. So different weights will be given to the previous 12 months based on which the predictions are going to be made. And the data was log scale in order to have smooth variance in the data distribution. So this is how the predictions, this is the moving average. The red color is a moving average, and this red color will be the exponential moving average predictions that are being made. The further experimentation was done based on autoregressive moving average and the culmination of these into a autoregressive integrated moving average. So there were 2 plots which is called as ACF plot, autocorrelation function plot, that was used by the autoregressive component, which considers the past p values, whether there is any relation with the current time period, and the moving average, it considered the moving average considered the autocorrelation function, and autoregression considered the partial autocorrelation function. So we have to determine the p values. P value is the past p values, and for moving average, it considers the past error as well. So ARIMA model has been, so this is the plot that is obtained based on the model parameters. So a p-value is of 1, q value of 1, a p-value of 1, and ARIMA model is AR, MA, and I. I is the differencing. Differencing we have obtained 0 because there is no, the data is stationary. So this is how there are variations in the plots that have been obtained in forecasting using AR, MA, and the ARIMA models. Finally, experimentation was also done using the machine learning and the deep learning models, wherein linear regression, random forest, and long short-term memory were being considered. Because these are supervised learning methods, a lag of previous 3 months were being considered. It cannot predict based on a single variable. So, first 3 months were used to predict the fourth month. So, 5, 6, and 7 is used to predict. So, like we have 1, 2, and 3 predicting the fourth month, 2, 3, and 4 predicting the fifth month, like this. So, a data set was made of that with a lag of previous 3 months. The data set was learned, that is trained, fit, and predicted using the linear regression, random forest, and the long short-term memory. So, this is how a linear regression only captures a linear relationship, whereas a random forest captures the nonlinear relationship also, which is within the patterns that is present. So, we can see that random forest is almost useful in predicting the entire the patterns that are present in the data. And also we have long short-term memory, which is a neural network, which has been considered over here. Finally, with these experimentations, performance evaluation was being done using the regression metrics. So there are different regression metrics like root mean square error, which basically is the square root of the mean square error. Mean square error is basically the difference between the actual and the forecasted value, which has been squared. So higher the error, the more the penalty it will have. So root mean square error is one of the regression metrics. Then we have mean absolute error. Absolute value of the actual and the forecasted value has been taken. Percentage value is mean absolute percentage error. And we have bias, that is a value difference between the actual and the forecasted values. So here we find that the value closer to 0 is the one which is the most efficient model. So random forest model is comparatively the better model. Long short-term memory, actually neural networks must work better, but because we have only 36 data points, it is not enough for training a neural network, which can be enhanced further. So random forest is the best model when compared to any of the other models with respect to RMSE, MAE, and MAP metrics, but forecast bias ARIMA model is compared to be better. Here there's a negative value which says that it will overestimate the forecast. Random forest overestimates the forecast. In conclusion, it has been observed that time series model for the initial value, it will predict closer to the actual data. But when as the predictions go further, it will flat out because they predict mean value instead of the individual data points. So that is why machine learning and deep learning forecasts were found better for this particular synthetic data set, which I have considered. And the conclusion is that the result obtained is not only based on time, but it is based on the function of the previous lags. As a part of the future work, what I would propose is I have only made use of a single variable for prediction. But we can see that there are different other data fields that may be affecting the forecasting accuracy. So those data points can be considered. And instead of monthly frequency, weekly data can be considered to develop accurate and robust models. Other time series machine learning, deep learning models can be explored. Work can be done based on individual blood group demand predictions. Here I have considered all the blood groups and plotted the frequency. But based on the demand for an individual blood group, also the work can be done. And multivariate data analysis can be done. So in conclusion, these are the references. In conclusion, I would end with a note saying blood donation saves life. So please donate that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your presentation. Ma'am, you have any questions?
Okay, what is the size of the data set?
Ma'am, for I have generated synthetic data set for 3 years. So 1 year had a total row of 15,000, ma'am. So total 45,000 rows were present.
45,000 instances are there. And
Yes,
according
ma'am.
to the experiment that you have presented,
Yes,
random
ma'am.
forest giving us the best performance.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you provide the detailed structure or the feature why random forest outperform other models?
Ma'am, since random forest is an ensemble learning method, ma'am, it is a combination of many decision trees. And that is why I have not taken separately trained test sets. I have entirely trained the data for the entire data set since there were only 36 data points and then tested it on that. And what we are doing over here is we are considering lag of 3 months to be studying the fourth month data. So that is how random forest is giving, and because there is a non-linear relationship between the data, it is not like it's not a linear relationship between all the monthly predictions of the data. So random forest gives the better accuracy.
Have you checked the correlation present between different features of the data set?
No, ma'am. Correlation I have not done because what I was focusing on is only on the univariate data analysis, ma'am. So I have considered only one field. Definitely for multivariate data analysis, if I want to make a prediction, then I would have to consider the correlation, a feature selection I may have to make using random forest and perform the operations. I have not done that experimentation, ma'am. Actually, this is just a preliminary work for the a real world data set. Real world data set I have not obtained because we have ethical clearance to be done. So once that is obtained, so I can experiment these models on the real world data set, assuming that it will follow such kind of a distribution.
Okay. Okay, that's it from my side.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
That brings us to the end of our presentations. So I would sincerely like to thank our authors for their excellent presentations and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this conference was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for the support during this third version and all the previous two versions of the conference. We would be happy to have you all in the fourth version as well. All the presenters would be getting their certificates, digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further, all the papers have been forwarded to Springer. The publication would be live within 6 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of ISBM 2024. I would like to thank our session chair, Dr. Nikita Bhatt, for chairing this session. Ma'am, a token of appreciation to chair the session on the team of ISBM and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. We would be happy to have your feedback and some wishes for our participants.
Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I think in many of the conference, I would be the session chair, and like for all conferences, this is also good conference where I can hear the good work which is presented by all authors. So first of all, I would like to congratulate them and all the very best for the future and the research work that you are doing. Once again, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I would request all the presenters to please switch on your camera so that we can have a quick snapshot. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.